Welcome everyone to my presentation on data farming and mining. To start us off, do you know the definition of these two terms? Fantastic, fantastic. So let me start it off by saying this. Farming and mining. You most likely know these definitions already. Farming is when you go in and create something, right? Essentially, synopsis. Mining, you go and you extract something. You're, say, coal mining, you're going to get the coal. Right. Okay, so now throw the words data onto both of those terms. Now, what is the significance of the terms? I do know, actually. For the purposes of my data mining and farming 305 lecture that is going on right now, that is me, I am the professor, as you will. For the purposes of this assignment and task, we will define data farming as that creating something, right? But instead of creating crops, you're creating a system where you can get data out of. So, for example, a lot of people say that TikTok is data farming because through their platform, they're getting data from that app. Versus data mining, you could be any entity. You can go over here and say, hey, grab their data. And now that data, you can use it for whatever you want. That could be statistical, that could be anything, really, anything. Very broad terms. Okay, fantastic. So the real question is, why does it matter? Hold on a second. Hey, Jeremy. Why does it matter? Okay, right. Okay, got it. So the significance of data farming and mining, both of these, right? That's right. You have certain entities using these technologies. For example, the military is conducting something, more specifically, the Marine Corps, Project Albert. What they are doing are creating simulations, essentially data farming, because they're creating these simulations of certain events so that their leaders can be more informed and make decisions on the go in combat environments. That's just one example. There's a bunch other. One of the most popular you might know is advertisements. They use data farming in a way, in combination with data mining, to know what you are looking for and then present those advertisements to you. And then a more obvious one is just general statistic stuff. What is another one, right? That's been in the media. I kind of brought it up a little bit earlier, right? These are the two big uh-ohs, TikTok and Facebook. So we'll go with Facebook because that was in the media a little bit before. You know, some of you may not even remember it. Cambridge Analytica. They were an entity that dove into Facebook's little data handling stuff, right? And what they found was that the data that they were collecting is a little iffy, right? It's a little iffy. There wasn't any consent given by the people using Facebook to get this data. What was Facebook's one big statement from this? I'll let you think about it. Great answer. And for the people who didn't get it, it was that on the internet, there is no expectation of privacy. So they basically took that opportunity to say we can do whatever we want with the data that you give us. Oh, whoa, big iffy. But they kind of essentially just got away with that. Move into the now with TikTok and data farming. This is a big hypothetical thing. We found concerning things such as they're collecting data from our copy and paste boards. It's not just like, oh, what we like or what we comment on TikTok. They have access to virtually everything on our device. But if we dive into that a little deeper, what a lot of people's concerns are about have been kind of quelled by the company saying, we hold your data not even in China, right? Because people think that the Chinese government is going to have this data and use it for their advantage or make it a propaganda machine. Well, funny enough, the company has said that that's not going to happen, and they've shown us through their actions. But the problem is that the Chinese government is, historically considered to be one of the more oppressive governments, and there's nothing to say that they won't just go in there, mandate the company to get into the data. Now what? They have the data. But let's not be hypocrites because the NSA did a little bit of spying. I don't want to, get murked. But the NSA did some spying, stuff like that, stuff like that. And FFC protections are gonna, or they were in a recent case brought back a little. These were protections given in the Obama administration to prevent us from, having our data going everywhere and us not knowing what to do about it, right? But the question is, what if something happens? What if this personally affects me? These companies, these entities, I have no grasp on them. Is there anything in legal terms that I can do? It's a big question. And the answer to that is kinda. Actually, be right here. I'll go grab my lawyer real quick. Yeah. Could you give him a quick rundown? Yeah, of course, no problem. I'm very well informed in this stuff. So, hello, I'm his lawyer. So, getting into this, our legal protections. There's one precedent that protects us in all of this. The thing with everything having to do with technology and the legal implications of it is that it's very new, very new. We don't have a lot of precedent. So we won't be able to predict how any of the cases go, essentially, because it's a very uncharted territory. But what can help us and what may save us in a scenario where we feel personally affected by these unethical practices, possibly, is a precedent called, not called, I'll just read it off of my very good lawyer book, right here. If an individual is harmed, right, or there was harm that could have been prevented, right? If an entity either does the harming or fails to prevent it, and they were entrusted with care by that individual, then you may be able to take action. Which, essentially, what we're saying here is, let's say, a lot of companies, what they do is they depersonalize the data. So they'll say, Javier Hurtado has been looking this up, this up, this up, this up. Okay, we'll take the data of what he looked up and take away the name Javier Hurtado. Let's say I go to get a job, right? Now, they took my data and they kept my name with it. Oh my goodness. And now my job for some reason has that. Now I don't get my job. That could be considered defamation. That could have been considered part of harm, right? Essentially. So what we do in that case is we go and do lawyer stuff and we try to fight it. But as I said, uncharted territory. Okay, sorry. It was taking too long. We know what we're saying. All right, so in conclusion, data farming and mining can be very useful things. The military is using them. Big companies have been using them to personalize stuff for us. And although we might find it a little bit invasive, it does, in a lot of ways, improve our life. With that being said, other companies like Netflix have done the same thing with streaming shows, right? Recommended stuff. You think they just know? No, they're using data farming and mining to figure this stuff out so they can give you a more curated experience. I thank you for your time. The future of this data, these practices, data farming and mining, the future of it can be very bright as long as we keep it out of the hands of oppressive governments, big companies who will exploit it, and other such entities. We can do our best to make it known what we want to happen with our data. Okay, with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you learned something from this presentation. And if you didn't, that's on you.